I wasn't born invisible, but somehow that's what I became. My name's Thelma Wade, 26, and last week, my family reminded me exactly where I stood or where they thought I stood. It happened at one of those dinners where everything looks perfect on the surface, but underneath, something's always about to snap. I'd spent my whole life in their shadow, the daughter who didn't sparkle, the sister who didn't matter. My parents used to beam at my sister like she was the sun itself. Me? I was the quiet one in the corner, useful only when someone needed help balancing a budget or fixing a Wi-Fi connection. That night, though, I stopped being quiet. Mom leaned forward at the table, voice sticky sweet. "Honey," she said, "your sister needs your room for her live stream studio. It's time to let it go." I froze, fork midair. My room, my sanctuary, the one place that belonged to me, wasn't just a room. It was the only proof that I existed in that house. Dad slammed his palm against the table so hard the glasses rattled. "You heard your mother. Agree or get out." My sister sat back, smirking. My brother looked away, pretending he didn't hear it. I could have shouted. I could have begged. Instead, I smiled, a slow, steady smile that made them all uneasy. They didn't know it yet, but that smile was a promise. Growing up in Richmond, I learned early that love in my house came with conditions. My sister, Tanya, was the family's glittering showpiece, photo shoots in the backyard, endless dance recitals, her face always tilted toward the spotlight. My brother, Ronald, was the golden boy, every laugh of his a reason for another toy or cookie. And me? I loved books more than applause. Numbers made sense when people didn't dot at 13. I worked weekends bagging groceries, saving for a computer. At 15, I had $500 tucked away in a tin box. Then one day, my parents took it. "Your sister needs a camera for the talent show," Dad said. "It's for her future." I watched Tanya twirl in front of her new camcorder while my dreams dissolved into silence. That was the day I stopped asking for fairness. Instead, I built my own world out of equations and late-night study sessions. While Tanya chased likes, I chased knowledge. While Ronald coasted, I learned to fight quietly. Numbers didn't lie. They didn't forget me. By the time I graduated, I'd won a full scholarship and a part-time job at a financial firm. I listened to clients talk about money the way people talk about faith, something that could save them or destroy them. I started giving small bits of advice, and it worked. People began to trust me. I realized I could turn this into something real. So I did. I launched my own consulting business right from that same small bedroom everyone thought was worthless. I built a website on an old laptop, met clients in cafes, and turned my obsession into a living. Within 3 years, my company was earning millions. And no one in my family had a clue. I didn't need them to know. Their silence was my fuel, and then came that dinner. That one sentence, "Give your room to your sister," was the spark that lit everything I'd been holding back. They thought they were taking away my safe space. They didn't realize they were handing me my freedom. The next morning, I called Ellen Fisher, my real estate agent. "I'm ready," I told her. "That house across the street, it's mine." By Friday, it was. Paid in full, cash. Sunday came, and I sat across from my family at our usual coffee table. Mom smiled like nothing had happened. "Have you decided about your room?" she asked. I took a sip of coffee and said, "Yeah, I'm moving out." Dad frowned. "Moving where?" I pointed out the window. "Across the street." For a second, no one moved. Then Mom blinked. Tanya dropped her phone. Ronald just stared. Dad barked, "What do you mean, across the street?" I slid the deed across the table. "I bought it. Cash." They stared like I'd spoken another language. Before they could recover, my phone rang. Ellen. I put her on speaker. "Congratulations, Thelma," she said. "The house is officially yours." Fastest cash deal I've ever seen. Silence. Mom's face went pale. Dad's joy twitched. Tanya looked like she'd swallowed her own ego. "How?" Mom whispered. "I built a business," I said simply. "While you were cheering for her live streams, I was helping real people build their futures. Doctors, teachers, small business owners. They trusted me. even when my own family didn't. Dad's voice cracked. You've been living here like nothing's changed. Because I didn't need to prove anything, I said. Mom reached across the table. Sweetheart, we didn't mean you did, I cut in. But it's fine. I'm done trying to earn space in a house that never had room for me. Tanya tried to laugh it off. Well, maybe you can help fund my next studio setup? I met her eyes. No, this isn't about you. Ronald stayed quiet, but there was something new in his face, respect, maybe even guilt. I stood, grabbed my keys, and walked out. Across the street, sunlight spilled through the windows of my new home. My boxes were already waiting. My books, my desk, my life. From my front porch, I looked back at the house I'd outgrown. For years, I'd begged for them to see me. Now, they couldn't look away. Funny, isn't it? Sometimes you have to step out of the shadows not by chasing their light, but by building your own. If it were you, sitting at that table, would you have stayed silent, fought back, or smiled like I did? Tell me in the comments. I'm curious which choice you'd make when the world finally dares to underestimate you one last time.